Our boy Luo, the guy who saved a girl in the apocalypse and got paid back with betrayal and a death screen. Yeah, that was his first run. Now rewind. Luo wakes up before the apocalypse even starts. Same world, same people, same snake he once trusted. But this time, bro didn't just come back, he came back broken. He unlocks a system early before anyone even knows what's coming, and it gives him the most illegal ability in the game. He can absorb all types of energy. Electricity, free upgrade, impact, stat boost. Anything that's supposed to hurt him just feeds him. And the craziest part, he remembers everything. Who betrayed him, who left him to die like trash. Because this time, Luo isn't here to save anyone. He's here to flip the script. No trust, no mercy. It's dominance and revenge. Back in 2025, when a meteor shower casually dropped a virus on Earth like it was delivering Chaos Express, more than 80% of humanity turned into monsters, and the remaining survivors either struggled or awakened powers and became the new bosses of the world. Fast forward, and Luo is tied up getting beaten like he owes rent to the wrong people. Random thugs are questioning him about an escape plan while their oversized boss starts barking, calling him trash and acting like feeding him once made him a pet. Luo, already done with life, just throws it back, saying he'd rather die than live under someone like him, and honestly fair. Then he drops the real trigger, calling out Anna for betraying him, saying trusting her was his biggest mistake. That hits instantly. She gets up and slaps him, offended he even used her name, acting all high and mighty because now she belongs to Lord Kwang. Yeah, the same energy as switching teams Midame and pretending you were always there. Luo just stares at her and says if he knew she'd turn out like this, he wouldn't have saved her in the first place. She just calls him naive, like betrayal is some kind of upgrade. She asks Kwang what to do with him, and the boss doesn't even hesitate, says get rid of him, then walks up, reminding Luo that ability users run the world now, and sends him flying with one punch straight through a wooden wall like he's testing physics. Liwa crashes down from a height straight into a buffet table of monsters waiting below. Anna, still curious, asks why not just drain him using his power, and Kwang basically says he's not worth the effort. Imagine being too trash to even be eaten properly. As the monsters tear into him, Lua's not begging, not crying, just locking in that revenge mindset, promising to kill every single one of those ability users, and right at that peak, anger scene flips. Now he's getting punched again, because apparently his life just loops, suffering. A guy warns him to stay away from Anna, or get his legs broken. And Lua's just standing there confused like, wasn't I just dead? He checks himself. No wounds, no starvation, body perfectly fine. That's when it hits. Something's off. He asks if they're working for someone named Chong, and the big guy gets offended, thinking he's the boss. Lua doesn't even care, just kicks him straight in the face because bro's breath was doing damage already. The guy drops, coughing blood, and immediately orders his goons to attack. They rush in like NPCs with no strategy, and Lua just stands there analysing all the openings like it's free practice mode. First guy gets kicked out of existence. Second one misses completely, and Lua is already noticing something weird. These guys don't look like apocalypse survivors at all. No scars, no survival instinct, just regular clowns. Third gets sent flying into a restroom door like he's checking if it's unlocked. Now 3 down, one panics suggesting retreat, but the other's ego says no, and both charge together like that's going to fix anything. The knife guy loses his weapon instantly. Bat guy tries to swing, but Lua just uses his own momentum against him and slams him into the ground. Fight's basically over, and Lua tells the boss to either leave or die. The guy instantly folds, starts begging, promises everything. Survival switch. Lua looks down for a second, and the guy tries a sneak attack with a knife, thinking he found an opening. Yeah, wrong move. Blood spills, but it's not Luos. The big guy ends up with his skull cracked by the bat instead. Lu's just standing there, thinking what kind of situation he just woke into. Dream or flashback. He grabs his phone, checks the date. May 15th, 2025. 1 week before the apocalypse. That's when it hits different. No wounds, no hunger, no monsters. Not fully believing it, he runs to the window to check outside for himself. He looks outside, and yeah, everything is normal, peaceful, pre-apocalypse vibes, like nothing ever happened. And for a second, he just stands there smiling, because this is basically the biggest comeback of his life. 1 week before everything goes to hell, and this time he's not walking in blind. He immediately decides he's going to stack supplies, fix every mistake, and make sure he's never that helpless again. Right when he's planning all that, boom, system pops up like host detected, and he's just staring at it like great. Now we adding DLC to this life. It introduces itself as the Tyrant Evolution System and binds to him automatically. His stats show level 1 0% progress, basically starter pack with nothing unlocked. He's confused, but the system explains it can absorb external energy, help him evolve, even break species limits. Luo hears that and immediately jumps to "so I can become immortal." The system's like, yeah, that's one way to say it. Now he's interested. It tells him energy can be converted into abilities, but it's expensive, so don't expect freebies. Luo doesn't waste time, walks straight to an electrical box and starts draining it like he just discovered cheat codes. Whole building loses power instantly. Lights out, people confused, kids somewhere celebrating like school got cancelled, and meanwhile, guy is sprinting outside covered in electricity like a human lightning bolt. Two random dudes don't even see him pass, just standing there like, what was that? While Lu's testing his new power, thinking, yeah, this is actually decent. System quickly humbles him, telling him once energy runs out, powers are gone, too. He checks progress after draining an entire school. Yeah, reality check hits hard. System explains electricity is low-level energy, and if he wants real progress, he'll need ability energy. Doesn't even exist yet for another week. So, leveling up fast, not happening anytime soon. Then the system drops a mission 168 hours before apocalypse. Gather enough food, water and weapons in 3 days as starting capital. Basically, speedrun survival mode. Unlocks the system map and storage as rewards, and Lu's curious what storage even does. Turns out, anything he touches can be stored unless it's a living thing without consent. That part's important. Can't just kidnap people into inventory like items. He opens the map, sees the first supply location, and immediately recognizes it. That's when he realizes luck is finally on his side for once. He straight up promises he's going to get revenge on everyone who screwed him over and make sure history doesn't repeat. Later, he heads to the supermarket he knows, and with over 100 hours left, he starts grinding supplies. Bro literally walking around touching bread and making it disappear like a budget magician. Then, moving on to other food. System updates progress 6%. That's it. At this rate, he's going to finish the mission in the next apocalypse. He almost loses it, but then calms down because he didn't come here for basic stuff anyway. He remembers Chang and heads into a restricted room where the real valuables are hidden. Inside, 2 guards stop him, asking what he's doing there. But Luo doesn't even reply, just charges his hand with electricity like conversation over. They crack their knuckles, ready to teach him a lesson, and instantly regret it as both get hit with a shock and drop. A quick and efficient system warns him his energy is already below 5%, so he can't keep spamming power like that. He walks further in and suddenly blends into a crowd. Turns out it's some kind of party. And right there, someone calls his name. He turns and yeah, of course, Anna. She walks up, grabs his arm like nothing ever happened, acting all familiar, asking what he's doing there, and Luo just freezes for a second because out of all people, it had to be her, the same person who sold him out. Now she's acting different, scared, even begging him to leave because the place is dangerous, says she got tricked into a card game. Lost 200,000 yuan in 3 rounds, and now they won't let her go. Luo's not buying any of it. He's already done with her drama, and before he can even respond, Bouncer steps in asking if he's trying to be a hero, then casually tells him if that's the case, he can pay her 200,000 yuan debt himself. Yeah, welcome to the situation. Luso hears that 200,000 yuan demand, and instead of panicking, Bro gets an idea so clean even he smiles a little, while Anna's still in full drama mode, asking him to lend her money like he's still the same old backup plan. But this time, Lu just gently pushes her hands away like, nah, wrong timeline, wrong guy. Straight up tells the guards he's not here to interfere, then casually walks off, telling them to enjoy themselves, leaving Anna standing there, stunned like her script just got deleted mid-scene. The guard behind her starts laughing, reminding her how she said her simp would pay for everything, and Anna, still coping, says Lua wasn't like this before, and maybe she just wasn't charming enough this time. Yeah, reality hitting hard. Then she shows up, calm but sharp, telling the guard to send people after Lu because something about that guy isn't normal, and he specifically remembers Lu's eyes, the kind that look like they've already seen people die. And even he questions if he's overthinking or if his instincts are just that good. Meanwhile, Lu already spots the tail, realizes he's being watched, and immediately connects the dots back to Anna. Like, yeah, of course, it circles back to her. He recognizes the man leading this as Xiao Yujin aka Viper, one of Chongdong Wang, 4 kings, the brain type hiding behind a normal face. Not someone you underestimate unless you want to disappear early. The guards following him are confused why their boss is so cautious over a random student. The other guy reminds him that's exactly why their boss is still alive. Paranoia keeps you breathing in this kind of world. Luo, low on energy, knows he's got basically one move left, so he doesn't waste time, rushes them instantly, fries both their brains before they even process what's happening. Clean and efficient, no second round. With them down, he tries to slip into the basement quietly. But yeah, too smooth to be that easy. Gun instantly to his head. A voice behind him confirms you all was right. Back upstairs, a waitress hears something like gunshots. Tension rises, but the staff quickly shuts everything down, clears the place, tells everyone to leave, like it's just maintenance. Classic cover-up. Hears the report, stays calm, says the kid was suspicious from the start, and he's glad he set a backup plan, trusting Poin to handle it, but still hoping the kid survives long enough to explain himself. Downstairs, Lu looks at the bullet hole in the wall. Clear warning shot, and Pojan tells him to turn around. Hands up, no tricks, unless he wants the next one through his skull. Lu recognizes him instantly, and yeah, memory hits. Back in his past life when he was starving after giving everything to Anna like a certified idiot. Pojan was the one who tossed him food and told him to tag along. Basically the only reason he didn't die early. Back to present. Lu just standing there like damn, but meeting the one guy he actually owed in the worst possible situation. Pojun tells him to stop staring and turn around. Lu tries to play it off like he just got lost and ended up here, but Pojun shuts that down instantly. Says his job is simple. Put a hole in his head. Excuses go to the boss. Louis sighs, realizing talking won't save him. But then he spots the electric switch nearby and casually moves toward it like he's complying. Places his hand on it and starts draining the entire building's power again. Thinking how Pojan really picked the worst day to be unlucky. Lights go out. Whole casino confused again. Jiune immediately orders repairs and tells everyone to guard entrances. Already suspecting this kid might not even be alone. In the darkness, Poin starts firing. Lu is already charged, moving like a blur. Bullets missing as he dodges at insane speed, and Pojan pauses for a second like, yeah, this ain't normal. When Lua rushes him, Pojan instantly switches to a hidden dagger from his sleeve, almost lands it. But Lua jumps back, and casually points out he already knew about that trick, which makes Poin even more confused. Like, who exactly is this guy? Lua realizes backup is definitely coming after those shots, so no time to stretch this fight. Electricity surges again around him, and right when Pojan aims, Lua just disappears from his sight and reappears behind him, grabs his arm mid-attack, and sends current straight through him. But before it can end clean, Luo notices fire nearby. Something's already gone wrong, and in the next second, the whole place detonates. Explosion tearing through the room and collapsing everything on top of both of them, turning that clean fight into pure chaos. Luo takes a second to process the chaos and quickly figures out the explosion probably came from him frying a gas line. Basically turned the whole place into a bomb by accident. But instead of panicking, he realizes that Blast just opened a hidden path straight into the basement, like the building itself decided to help him loot faster. As he moves forward, Pojun actually wakes up, still conscious after all that. He recognizes Luo caused the explosion and immediately questions why he wasn't finished off when he had the chance. But Luo just stands there looking at him like he's already done the math and decided he's not worth the extra effort right now. Pojun, still stubborn, throws a warning that Luo's tricks won't mean anything against Chang, hyping his boss like he's the final boss of the server. And Luo responds by shocking him again, casually pointing out that for a former Wolf Squad captain, the guy's durability is decent. Then drops him for good this time and jumps into the basement, brushing off Chang entirely, like, yeah, he's on the future death list anyway. Upstairs, chaos spreads. They report the pipeline explosion. Xiao immediately starts thinking instead of panicking. Pojun is down. And you can tell the situation just went from annoying intruder to this kid is a problem. Meanwhile, Anna, completely out of sync with reality, starts whining about her back hurting from the noise and instantly gets slapped into silence. Just not even entertaining that nonsense anymore, straight up, calling out the obvious. She knows Luo, and somehow this same guy just took down their strongest fighter. Orders come instantly. Tie her up. No more acting. And she starts begging, trying to downgrade herself like, I'm not even close to him. But yeah, too late. Her credibility expired the moment Luo walked in. Boss doesn't waste time and heads out, ignoring the bathroom explosion detail completely because he already read the situation better than everyone else. Tells his men the kid's real target is the storage vault, not the blast site, which, honestly, good read, just a little late. Down in the basement, Shilt Luo reaches the vault entrance, kicks the door open like it owes him money, and walks in to find something way bigger than expected. Not just storage, this is a full underground fortress packed with food, water, clothes, solar panels, even weapons. And Lu pauses for a second, realizing Chang wasn't just playing gangster. This guy was prepping for doomsday early, which raises questions Luo didn't even consider in his past life. But thinking too deep isn't the plan right now. Bro switches straight into loot mode, absorbing everything like a vacuum cleaner with zero shame, stacking supplies, until his mission progress shoots up to 77%. Then he spots the crystals, and that's where things get weird because those stones shouldn't even exist yet. Supposed to appear after the apocalypse. So now Lu's brain starts connecting dots like, wait, was Chang preparing for this all along? Or is there something bigger he completely missed before? He pauses, thinks about it, then immediately decides, nah mystery, later loot first, and goes full goblin mode, grabbing the stones like they're limited edition drops, planning to absorb them early and unlock powers ahead of everyone else. But the system shuts him down instantly. Energy stone absorption is disabled for him right now because of system restrictions. That one hits, he just stands there mentally arguing with invisible software, realizes he got nerfed mid-hype, and settles for storing the stones instead. Basically, future investment, current disappointment. Once the mission hits 100%, system confirms completion and rewards him with energy conversion, and Luo immediately tries to understand if this is just a fancy name or actually broken, and yeah, it's broken. Devotes any energy into his power with zero loss. Luo processes that in the most Luo way possible. So upgraded version of what I already do, and the system basically goes, yeah, that's not wrong. Fully stacked, he considers looting the rest, but timing finally catches up with him because Jiao arrives with his squad guns, out-calling him a rat trapped in the vault, giving the classic end him command like he thinks this is already over. Luo doesn't even bother replying, just disappears from their sight instantly, leaving them aiming at air like NPCs who lost target lock. They search the area confused, report back that not only is Luo gone, but literally everything inside is gone too. Whole vault emptied like it got deleted. Zhao stands there trying to process how one guy walked in and wiped an entire bunker clean without breaking walls or using exits. And that's when it hits him. This isn't normal. This kid might be something else entirely. He orders full alert, no escape. But meanwhile, Lu's already gone, realizing he pushed his luck way too far this time. Spent too long looting like he forgot enemies exist, and now he's walking out of a max security problem he created himself, stacked with resources. With heat on his back, Luo clocks the situation instantly. Heavy guns everywhere, but at least he's got darkness on his side. So, he decides to play it smart and wait it out, saving the last bit of electricity like it's his final lifeline. To ambush when they get close. Except, yeah, plan goes straight to trash because the guards don't walk in like NPCs. They come from the back and spot him immediately. And Lu just internally goes, yeah, I'm cooked. No more thinking. Depined, he just launches forward at full speed, decides if he's going down, he's at least testing his new ability properly. Bullets start flying, and the guards are already confused because this student is moving like he skipped physics class permanently. Shot grazes his palm, and the moment blood comes out, boom, a freaky mouth opens on his hand, and even Lua pauses mid-fight like, what kind of horror DLC is this? He jumps back for a second, guards confused if they even hit him. Luo gets confirmation from the system that energy transfer worked, and without wasting time, he kicks one guy straight in the face with force boosted like a bullet, instantly folding him. Now he starts understanding it. He's literally converting the bullet's kinetic energy into his own attack power. But at the same time, he's staring at his hand like, do I seriously have a mouth now? Because that's going to be a problem later. Priorities slightly questionable, but fair. Before he can think more guards show up. One of them acting brave, the other reminding him this is the same guy who dropped Pojun. But ego wins and they still go in. Lua turns back with that weird hand mouth, grinning like it knows something they don't. And the moment they start shooting again, he just stands there absorbing every bullet like it's free DLC content. Then returns it with interest. One kick launching a guy like he got hit by his own ammo. The rest start panicking because yeah, they signed up for security. Supernatural nonsense. Lu realizes these guys have zero idea what's coming because the apocalypse hasn't even started yet. So to them, he's basically a walking glitch. He grabs their guns, lets them empty full mags into his hands like he's charging a battery. Begging, but too late. Once they're dry, he just swings them around using their own weapons and smashes them into the wall like broken furniture. Then he dumps the stored energy. The mouths disappear, wounds close. He's visibly relieved because walking around with talking hands wasn't on his life plan. He's just starting to think about pushing this ability further when a sniper tags him out of nowhere. Clean hit. Sniper confirms the kill, like he already wrapped the mission. A second later, he hears movement and sees Lua flying straight at them from distance like Death didn't get the memo. Lua crashes into their position, sends multiple guys dropping down floors, and immediately calls out the sniper because, yeah, that shot actually hurt. The remaining guys try to stay calm, telling themselves numbers advantage still matters, completely ignoring the fact this dude just tanked a sniper round. Luo, meanwhile, realizes his body reinforcement from stored energy is the only reason he's still alive. He doesn't stick around to debate it, decides to dip fast before more surprises show up. Problem is, more gunfire starts again, and Luo just absorbs everything mid-run, converts all that energy in one go and charges through them like a human battering ram. He countesses, knocking them down in a straight line like bowling pins who made bad life choices. Just when it looks like he cleared the path, Boss shows up behind him like the final boss who's been waiting for his entrance cue, calling him a punk and instantly recognizing Luo's not normal either, asking if that ability is some teleportation type since things just vanish around him. Luo doesn't even entertain the question, just goes for a kick. Boss blocks it with a mutated arm like it's nothing, and casually tells him that hit was weak. Then Boss flexes his actual ability, arm swelling into something massive, straight up monster level, and declares it's over. Luo finally realizes, yeah, this isn't some random thug anymore. This is a problem he wasn't ready for yet. Boss engulfs him with that giant arm and crushes him, blood coming out, pressure insane, and Luo barely escapes using his speed. Already thinking how the hell this guy has powers before the apocalypse even starts, immediately linking it back to those energy stones. But Boss doesn't slow down, slams him again, and Luo tries to absorb the impact this time, but the force still sends him flying, and that's when it hits him properly. His absorption isn't enough to fully cancel this guy's attacks, meaning this fight just went from risky to straight up dangerous. Luo immediately realizes something's off because in his last life, this boss never showed power at this level, which means either the guy was hiding like a rat the whole time or something changed earlier than it should have. And while he's still thinking, Boss just walks forward like he already owns the outcome, tipping he doesn't care who sent Luo. Stepping into this place already sealed his fate, but then switches tone and starts recruiting mid-fight, saying, talent like Luos is rare, so just return everything. Neil's swear loyalty, and maybe he'll let him live, basically offering him a job application with a death threat attached. Luo doesn't even hesitate, just looks at him like that's the funniest joke he's heard all day and straight up refuses. So Boss drops the act instantly and goes back to killing mode, thinking he'll just take the corpse back to Chang instead. Boss charges in to test him properly, and Luo quickly reads it. This metal ability isn't just for show, it's defense and offense combined, meaning his usual energy tricks won't break through easily. Instead of spreading power out, he compresses everything into one single point and throws a punch. And that focused hit actually shatters the metal arm, which catches Boss completely off guard. Luo doesn't waste the opening, grabs him and lifts him, and Boss, all trying to stay composed, start questioning Luo's power because it keeps fluctuating like it's unstable, wondering if he's bluffing or hiding something. Luo flips it back, asking where his power even came from, and Siwa just laughs at him like imagine having powers and not even knowing the source, which honestly, fair roast. Luo gets tired of the talking, offers to send him to hell with that secret intact, but Siwa still tries to negotiate, saying they can still work together, she warning him that touching him means Chang won't let him live. Duo drops him, and Siwa immediately assumes it's fear. Thinking Luo backed up because of Chang's name, Luo, already done listening, tells him to wait at the bridge of helplessness because Chang's coming soon anyway and moves in to finish it. Right before the final hit lands, Po Jun steps in, blade out, blocking him. Yua looks genuinely annoyed now, telling him to move because this isn't a fight a normal person can interfere in, but Po Jun stands there anyway, shaking but refusing to back down, saying Shu, Sha can't die yet. Vu pauses for a second, reads the situation, and asks what they're using to control him. Po Jun stays silent, which basically confirms everything. Boss, still alive, starts praising Po Jun like a loyal dog, promising rewards from Chang, and casually mentioning maybe his wife and daughter will be spared. That's when Lu fully gets it. It isn't loyalty, it's a leash. Lu calls it out as disgusting, and Boss just accepts it like, yeah, that's the point, and Boss decides both of them are liabilities now. says they've seen too much and goes full metal form again, preparing to wipe them both, even promising Pojun a good word after he dies, which is wild timing. Lu suddenly hears a cracking sound, and before anyone reacts, grenades drop in like someone just hit the chaos button. And yeah, everything goes boom. The whole place starts blowing apart, and Luo doesn't waste even half a second, punches through the floor and drags Pojun down with him, escaping the blast by dropping into a lower level he barely remembered existed, landing hard but alive. Down there. Sho processes what just happened, realizes boss was controlling everyone by holding their families hostage, basically running a prison disguised as a gang. Pojun gets up confused, admits he didn't even know this lower level existed, and asks how Lu knew about it. Lu just looks at him in silence. No answers, no explanations. Pojun eventually breaks it, saying there's no reason for them to fight anymore since June isn't here. And Lu just turns and starts walking off, clearly annoyed he couldn't finish the job. Pojun stops him. C can't die yet because he's the only one who knows where his wife and daughter are being held. Then points out Luo's condition, telling him if he doesn't treat his wounds fast, he's going to lose more than just blood. He finally acknowledges it properly. Luo saved him twice now, took the explosion head-on, and says he'll repay that by giving his life if he gets his family back. Luo just finds that funny, like he's hearing the backstory of some future war hero before the world even ends. Tells him he's not interested in his life at all, focusing on patching himself up instead. Pojun keeps pushing, saying they need to leave because there's no medical supplies here. Luo just casually pulls out medical supplies, like he unlocked creative mode mid-fight, and Pojun pauses like, yeah, that's definitely not normal, immediately asking if that's another ability, and if Shiwa's weird earlier behavior was also tied to something like that. But Luo just looks at him confused for a second and asks if Shiwa didn't explain anything. And Pojun basically shuts that down, saying nobody's sharing secrets with a guy they're controlling through his family, which fair point. Bro's literally a hostage employee. Luo then remembers, right? Apocalypse hasn't even started yet. So, of course, Pojun has zero context, and instead of explaining the entire future like a spoiler machine, he just hands him supplies to patch himself up to. Jun's still processing everything, and asks the obvious question, why help someone who just tried to shoot him in the head? And Luo answers it straight, says if Pojun wants to find his family, dying here isn't part of the plan. Dick then casually drops that he knows this lower level exists, and suggests they search it together because his family could be down here. Pojun actually apologizes, admits he thought Luo was part of some betrayal setup. He didn't expect him to not be with Chang's group at all. Even calls him a good guy, which makes Luo just laugh like, yeah, you might want to revise that label real soon. Casually says he's planning to clean out all 3 underground levels while they're at it, completely killing the serious mood. And Poin just looks at him like, bro. As they move deeper, Pojun starts questioning the entire layout, casino under a supermarket, dig a warehouse under that, now tunnels beneath everything, and wonders what kind of operation Chang is running. And yeah, the deeper they go, the worse it looks. Luo tells him they're close, and soon they reach another entrance, and the moment Luo sees it, it clicks. This is exactly how he remembered it from his previous life. A hidden prison Chang used to lock up anyone who didn't obey him, and judging by the condition of the iron doors, this place wasn't even built after the apocalypse. It was already running before everything went to hell, which just makes Chang look less like a criminal and more like someone preparing for something way bigger. Luo connects everything in his head, the power stones, the bunker, these underground layers, and realizes Chang wasn't just surviving the apocalypse. He was ready for it before it even began, which is straight up unsettling. Still, instead of going full conspiracy mode, Luo suggests looting first, priorities perfectly aligned. But the moment they step in, the mood flips instantly because they hear people crying, real people locked behind those iron doors. Poin rushes to one of them, asking if they're okay. What happened? Trying to confirm if his family is here. But instead of answers, he gets someone begging him to kill her before she turns into a monster. And now even he's like, what does that even mean? Before he can dig deeper, Luo cuts him off, tells him to focus because something else is coming. And right on cue, they hear heavy banging from another door, and when it finally bursts open, problem arrives, a mutated creature with multiple eyes staring straight at them like it's been waiting. Then more start pouring out. Not one, not two, a full group. And Luo immediately realizes this is bad, because these are mutants, before the apocalypse even officially starts. He's low on energy, already drained from earlier fights in that explosion, and now he's stuck in a place full of locked civilians with monsters flooding in. running isn't even an option unless he's fine leaving them to die, which he's not. While he's still thinking of a plan, Po-jun just goes full instinct, pulls his gun and starts blasting, drops one clean, then keeps firing like he's trying to delete the entire wave solo. But yeah, ammo runs out real quick, and Luo has to drag him back before he gets eaten for that mistake. Po-jun, completely shaken, now asks what these things even are, and Luo gives it straight low-level mutants and also tells him to chill because bullets aren't doing much here, and all that shooting just made things worse by attracting more. He tells him to stop and says he might have another way, and that's when his mind flashes back to the early days of the apocalypse, where soldiers were already getting overwhelmed, trying to hold positions even higher. Ability users struggling against waves like this. Back then, one commander, Xiao Jantian, an A-rank enhancement user, was already losing patience because orders kept telling them to hold while they were getting buried alive in mutants. And just when it looked like they'd be wiped, something changed. A shift in the battlefield, and then ice crashed down from above, wiping out monsters instantly. And that's when she appeared. Shen, the Queen of Ice, stepping in with her ice sword, like the kind of reinforcement that doesn't just help, it resets the entire fight. The soldier watching Shen pull up solo is already confused why backup looks like one person, but Shio immediately shuts him down, basically telling him, if he values his life, he should stop talking and start watching, because even he's shocked the higher-ups sent someone like her out. And yeah, the doubt disappears real quick when she wipes out the remaining mutants in a single move like she'd just cleared a tutorial level. The soldiers start hyping her up instantly, calling her their savior, while Shen just calmly steps back, leaving the rest to them, like cleanup duty, already wondering why a beast tide even showed up that close to camp in the first place. Then reality slaps back in when another monster appears out of nowhere and crushes a soldier like he's nothing, and Shen's expression shifts immediately because she recognizes it. Halace, a Lord-class mutant, meaning this whole situation just escalated from bad to run or die. She orders a retreat instantly, and even Shiwa stops playing commander and tells everyone to move if they don't want to get deleted. Shen already figures this thing might be the source of the entire beast tide and suspects this wasn't random at all. But she still steps forward anyway, because there's no other choice, charging in to face it alone. Next thing she remembers is waking up, bandaged up. Injuries treated, and for a second, she's confused how she even survived that fight. Then starts questioning where she is and who handled her in that state. And right next to her is Lulu, casually telling her she's finally awake. He found her collapsed while scavenging and just patched her up, even hands her canned food like it's a normal day, even though that stuff is rare at that time. Back in the present, everything goes sideways fast. Po-jun gets thrown straight into a tank of that mutant liquid and starts swallowing it unintentionally, which is already a red flag situation. While Luo is busy connecting timelines, realizing Shen disappeared after that recovery in his past life, and now somehow she's locked inside Chang's facility, which already smells like something went very wrong. Shen starts acting off immediately, complaining about intense pain, her breath turning cold, and then she just snaps, releasing a full ice attack without caring who's around, basically trying to flatten the whole place. Lua instantly realizes she's about to bring the entire underground down on them, so he calls out her full name, trying to snap her back, dodges the attack, and rushes in to stop her, telling her to calm down unless she wants to die along with everyone else down here. But in the middle of that, he accidentally grabs where he absolutely shouldn't, freezes for a second, immediately jumps back, apologizing like, bro just made the worst timing mistake possible. And yeah, that just makes her even angrier. Now she's fully trying to turn him into an ice porcupine, launching attacks non-stop, and Lu has to switch gears fast. Grabs one of the ice constructs and starts absorbing the energy through that mouth ability, converts it and blasts it away before it pins him, then tries to talk again, asking if she's lost it. But talking isn't working, so he just zaps her, kicking her out for a moment. He doesn't waste time, runs to check Po-jun, who fell into the mutant liquid. Hears nothing at first and assumes, yeah, that's it, guy's gone. But when he pulls him out, Po-jun suddenly coughs, still alive, which even surprises Luo. But now, there's a bigger issue. He's been soaked in that stuff long enough to potentially mutate. Luo actually considers ending him right there to avoid future problems, but then remembers from his past life that Po-jun survives this and gains abilities. So, he backs off and decides to deal with Shen first. He starts looking for something to restrain her safely, thinking he has time, but yeah, he doesn't, because she gets back up way faster than expected. Already in another rage state, and this time it's worse. Face starts shifting into something beast-like, and Lu immediately realizes his earlier shock didn't fully work because of her ice armor reducing the effect. She attacks again, ice coming at him non-stop. Luo counters with a charged kick to break through. She keeps firing faster, more aggressive, and he's forced to absorb the attacks mid-air while backing off just to survive. He quickly understands this isn't a short fight. It's a stamina trap, and the more she pushes, the more her body starts mutating further. It's when it hits him properly. If this keeps going, she's not coming back from it. She'll fully turn into a mutant, but he's stuck because his current toolkit isn't enough. Electricity isn't stopping her. Close-range attacks can't even land properly without getting overwhelmed, meaning he's running out of ways to save her, while the situation keeps getting worse. Right when Luo's running out of options, the system drops a clutch hint, getting him to consider unlocking the genetic lock, and he is like, bro. But before he can even finish reading, Shen rains down another wave of ice, like she's trying to delete him from existence, boxing him back until he trips over Poin and immediately eats another barrage straight into the mutant pool. Now submerged, barely holding it together, he finally sees the full system prompt, genetic lock at 10%, and realizes this isn't some random pop-up. It's tied to his earlier rewards, and when the system explains, it lets him devour viruses to boost his strength. Lu's first thought is, where the hell am I supposed to find viruses right now? Then immediately realizes he's literally drowning in them. So yeah, no more hesitation. He activates it. Instantly, the whole pool goes crazy, energy spiraling like a vortex, and Shen actually pauses because even she can tell something just changed. Next second, Luo erupts out of the liquid like a full transformation scene. Body altered. It's different, presence completely off, and even he's just standing there like, what did I just turn into? Then reality hits him. If he looks like this outside later, people won't even ask questions, they'll just execute him on sight. No time to panic though, because Shen immediately drops a literal mountain of ice on him, and Luo just raises one hand and holds it there, stopping at mid-crush while keeping Po-jun from getting flattened, and even he's surprised at how ridiculous his strength just became. He sees that and loses it completely, screaming like a full monster now and launching more attacks. But Lu's already adapted, blocking everything one-handed and deciding, yeah, deal with her first identity crisis later. He rushes her, calling her by name to snap her back, but she's gone feral. No response, just attacks, tries to crush him with reinforced ice arms, and Luo blocks it casually, which clearly wasn't in her expectations. She jumps back, fires again, and now Luo's getting annoyed, smashing through her ice walls like they're cardboard, telling her to calm down because he's actually trying to help. Then he closes the distance and lands a solid hit to her gut, dropping her instantly. And just like that, her ice form collapses. Luo doesn't celebrate though. He's already thinking about his own condition, wondering if he's stuck like this now, but still makes sure to cover her up first, noticing she's in that same vulnerable state like the first time he saw her before. And yeah, priorities still somehow intact mid-chaos. But right after that, his body just gives up, drops flat, can't move, pain hits all at once, and now he realizes the system conveniently forgot to mention side effects. Classic. He tries to stay conscious, thinking he hasn't secured Shen or Po-jun yet, but his body shuts down anyway and he blacks out. When Shen wakes up, she finds Luo passed out next to her, confused, quickly covering herself and trying to piece together what just happened. Later, Lu wakes up to find himself resting on her lap, and she calmly tells him to stay still because he's still injured. But Lu, still running on instincts, tries to get up immediately until he realizes the situation he's in and just freezes for a second. Yeah, pick the best angle for focus. He asks when she woke up, and she explains she was conscious the whole time, even during the fight, but it felt like something else was controlling her body, like she was trapped inside herself, and she thanks him for stopping her. She looks at him closely and says he feels familiar, like they've met before, and that hits Luo hard. He instantly gets serious and asks if she also came back from after the apocalypse, but she's confused, has no idea what he's talking about. He backs off and brushes it off like nothing, but internally, he locks that thought in, realizing he needs to watch carefully, because if others also returned like him, this whole situation just got way more complicated. Then he shifts back to the present problem, asks her how she ended up here, why Chang captured her, and Shen just says she doesn't even know who Chang is. She was simply taken and brought here tied up. The only thing she clearly remembers is hearing those people call themselves Chaos, and that immediately sets Luo off internally because in his entire previous life, that name never showed up once, which means either they were hidden way too deep or something has already changed in this timeline. Connecting dots, thinking, if Chaos is using Changdong's base, then either they're working together or Chang is just another pawn in something bigger. And yeah, that's not a comforting thought. Shen keeps going. The organization is extremely secretive and their methods are on another level. But at least Luo smashing the place snapped her out of whatever control they had on her. And before he can even process that, she just jumps him with a hug like she's already decided her life direction. Lu's standing there like, "Excuse me," and immediately pushes her off, telling her straight that if she thinks she can just stick to him to avoid chaos, she's dreaming because the moment they come looking, he's getting dragged into that mess too. And he has zero interest in signing up for that kind of chaos subscription. He turned away, acting all cold, but inside, he's already annoyed at himself because, yeah, he just rejected a top-tier girl. But thanks to Anna, his brain is running full anti-rust mode. No exceptions. Shen doesn't back off though. She gets serious and admits she was already thinking about revenge, saying if the Luo hadn't interrupted things, she would have just turned into their obedient killing machine. And now she's got nothing left. No name, no past. Just this weird sense that he's the only familiar thing she has. She straight up asks where else she's supposed to go, if not with him. Shim and Luo hears all that but filters it through his trauma like, yeah, heard that before. Still skeptical, but at the same time, he's not blind. He knows how strong she is and how much stronger she'll become, and having her around is basically a walking advantage. He does the classic Luo move. Logic first, emotions later, tells her she can stay, but only if she follows his orders, and that's all the permission she needs. She instantly lights up and rushes him again. Moves too fast, slips, ends up right on top of him, his face in a way that's definitely not professional, and promises she'll behave. And Lua's brain just stopped for a second. Yeah, this is getting out of hand. Right on cue, Po-jun jumps in like a man on a mission, sees her on top of Luo and immediately goes, "Enemy detected." Tries to stab her, but Shen casually freezes his arm mid-air and almost turns his eyes into ice sculptures. And now it's about to become a three-way disaster until Luo yells at both of them to chill and explains she's not an enemy. Pound's confused, backs off, asking who she even is, and Luo just gives him the short version. She's with him now. End of discussion. Then Luo switches topics like nothing happened and asks Po-jun if he felt anything weird after soaking in that liquid. And Po-jun says, nope, completely fine, which just makes Luo go deadpan and tell him, yeah, you'll mutate later. I'll kill you when that happens. For now, go wash up. And Po-jun just stands there thinking, how is this guy saying something this terrifying so casually? Luo then pulls clothes out of system storage like it's normal, hands them over, and Shen just starts changing right there with zero hesitation, leaving both Luo and Po-jun stunned like, there are still rules. Luo immediately kicks her out into the hallway to finish changing, while Po-jun is still stuck with a frozen arm, asking how exactly he's supposed to deal with that situation. After that chaos settles, they head back to the prison area. Shen breaks open a cell like it's nothing and tells the girls inside they're safe now, giving them the option to leave or stay, since she knows some of them have nowhere to go. Basically stepping into leadership mode without even trying. Behind her, Shan quietly asks Lu if everything he said about the apocalypse is actually real, and Luo just looks at him like, bro, you just saw me pull an entire wardrobe out of thin air. What part still feels fake to you? That's enough to convince him. Po-jun says he might have to leave, for now, because there's still time. And Luo instantly understands he's going after his wife and child, something Luo doesn't even remember from his previous life, which already tells him things aren't exactly the same anymore. Without wasting time, Luo pulls out a full set of weapons from storage and hands it over, telling him going out unarmed right now is basically suicide, and also points out that this underground setup is perfect for surviving the apocalypse. So, whatever June is hiding his family, it's probably similar, meaning they should still be alive. Then, Luo gives him a plan. Stay here for now. Train the girls, reinforce the place, get ready, because Chang is definitely not letting this slide, and when the time comes, he'll deal with Ju directly to get his family back. Meanwhile, somewhere else, Chi-H is already praising a guy named Yang for handling things well, which basically confirms one thing. The next move is already coming, and it's not going to be polite. Yang steps up, acting like the most loyal employee of the year, proudly saying he personally handled Chang's orders and didn't miss a single item, basically begging for a gold star, but Chang isn't impressed. He casually asks if Yang peeked at the goods. Kund and Yang immediately plays dumb like boss. You joke right, wrong answer, because Chang tells him to turn around and look properly, and the moment Yang does, yeah, nightmare unlocked. Dozens of people sealed inside vials filled with mutant liquid, barely even looking human anymore. Chang calmly calls them the foundation of his new world, like he's talking about real estate, and Yang, already shaking, asks what those things even are, which is the exact moment he talks too much. So, Chang just twists his neck in one move. No drama, no warning, just questions are not encouraged, and drops him like expired stock, casually adding that trash like him wouldn't survive the apocalypse anyway. Right then, Boss shows up looking like stress itself. Chang immediately questions why he's not guarding the casino. Boss starts sweating, like he already knows he messed up big time, and explains everything got raided, warehouse gone, men gone, all because of one kid who somehow knew exactly where to go. And now, Chang's interest is triggered because one kid pulling that off is already suspicious. He's about to punch Boss out of existence, but pauses when he hears about the spatial ability. That part catches his attention. The punch still lands, only destroys the wall behind Boss instead of him. Basically, a warning shot saying, "You're alive on borrowed time." Boss immediately begs to go after Lua with Mad Leopard, but Chang shuts that down for now, saying Judgment Day is close and no one moves until then. He reminds him very clearly that those supplies and lab experiments are the backbone of his future world. So, if he messes up again, yeah, he won't get another warning. After Boss leaves, Chang just stands there thinking about that spatial ability, wondering if Lua is some escaped experiment, and instead of being angry, he's actually interested, which honestly says everything about how messed up this guy is. A few days pass, and then it begins exactly on schedule. Asteroids start crashing through satellites and tearing into the atmosphere. Buildings get wrecked, the whole city goes from normal to disaster mode instantly, and Boss is watching it all from the bunker, asking if this is the Judgment Day Chang mentioned, and Chang just says it's only the beginning, like he ordered this whole event himself. Outside, people are confused for about 5 seconds before reality hits. One guy goes to check on someone and instantly gets his face ripped off by a freshly mutated human. Just like that, the city flips into full chaos. People turning, attacking, dying everywhere. Back at Lu's side, the impact hits and everyone feels the quake. Panic starts rising, but Pojun steps in and stabilizes things, reminding everyone Lu already warned them about this. So, instead of freaking out, they stick to the plan. And meanwhile, Shen is casually walking around in basically swimwear like the apocalypse didn't come with a dress code. Wondering how Lu knew all this beforehand, Lu ignores the chaos outside and checks his system. Evolution at 10%, 3 skills unlocked, energy conversion, bullet flying kick, lightning swift, stats boosted over 3 times thanks to the genetic lock. He quietly decides, yeah, this is enough to start playing seriously. Then the system drops a new problem like it always does. Emergency mission activated. For the next 24 hours, every mutant in range will have maximum hostility toward him, particularly putting a giant free target sign on his back, and before anyone can even react, footsteps start closing in. The system confirms a large amount of mutant energy nearby. And yeah, they're coming straight for him. Lua doesn't panic, just accepts it and moves out, telling everyone to follow the plan. Shen instantly responds and seals the entrance behind them with ice so nothing escapes or sneaks in, locking the battlefield in place. And just like that, the mutants rush in, like they've been waiting their whole life for him. But Lu stands there, calm, wraps his body with blazing chains, and instead of looking like prey, he looks like the worst possible opponent they could have picked. Lu are locked in mentally, remembering how he died like absolute fodder in his last life, and straight up tells himself that this time he's not going out like that again. No repeats, no mercy. And as his body starts shifting, Shen instantly recognizes that same aura from before, the one that literally forced her mutated state to back off, and now she's looking at him like, yeah, this is not normal, this is higher tier danger. Li were already declaring it in his head. This life he's taking everything, climbing straight to the top, no discussion. The moment his eyes light up, he goes into hunting mode, casually telling the mutants their crystal cores are basically the new currency, more valuable than gold, which is wild considering he's saying that mid-fight. Then reality hits him sideways because he suddenly notices he's only got one monstrous hand active. And now he's annoyed, asking why the system didn't bother explaining there's a half transformation like he signed up for a demo version. The monsters are already closing in while he's arguing with tech support mid-battle. He literally tells them to wait a second while he figures things out. But yeah, they're not that polite. They jump him immediately. Shen gets tense watching this. Luo's hand just moves on its own and devours one of the mutants like it's on autopilot. And now, Lu's even more annoyed because his own hand is freelancing. He demands answers, and the system casually tells him he's absorbing massive crystal core energy and is about to upgrade, which sounds great until it adds that it'll be temporarily unavailable, and Luo just loses it like bro now. The system ignores him completely and starts shutting down anyway. And Luo's stuck there getting swarmed while his support system Rage quits mid-fight, so now he's forced to handle it raw. The mutants pile on, and Luo snaps, smashing them apart with that oversized hand. And then, things get worse. Tendrils start growing out of his body and automatically sucking in crystal cores from every corpse around him like some vacuum cleaner from hell. He immediately notices something's off. The more it absorbs, the more his mind starts getting blurry, and now he's questioning if even that last burst of anger was really him or just the hand messing with his head. Back inside, the others start noticing Luo just standing there surrounded, not moving right. They ask Pojun if something's wrong. Shen instantly decides he needs help, but before she can move properly, the ice barrier starts cracking because more mutants are breaking in. And now the situation is stacking up fast. Shen jumps in to assist. Luo warns her not to come near because he can't control himself anymore, which is already a red flag the size of a building. At the same time, back at Chang's side, they notice something weird. All the mutants in the area are gathering toward the casino, like it's a festival, and Chang immediately clocks that this isn't normal behavior, while Boss starts connecting dots, realizing that Kid might have done something to pull all of them in. Back underground, Luo is basically at the edge, realizing they're about to get overwhelmed. But right then, the system finally finishes updating, and a burst of energy explodes out of him, blasting the surrounding mutants away like they're nothing. The system announces genetic lock at 20% and unlocks a new form tyrant. And yeah, that name is not for decoration. Luo immediately goes feral, full rampage mode, tearing through mutants like they're paper, screaming kill, ripping flesh apart with his hands and even his teeth. Completely gone, no restraint left. Pojun sees this and immediately knows this is bad. Shen looks at him and realizes he's exactly like she was after coming out of that vial completely out of control. The remaining mutants actually start backing off, but Luo doesn't stop. He hunts them down anyway, ripping limbs apart, breathing like a beast that just got unleashed. After wiping them out, he lands right in front of Shen, and she tries to call him back. The moment he looks at her, it's pure hostility. No recognition, just rage, and he launches at her. Shen instantly confirms it. He's gone. No control left. So she throws up an ice shield and tells him to calm down, but when he slams into it, she feels it immediately. Pressure, that aura, it freezes her in place. Not physically, mentally, like her body just refuses to move. Right at that moment, Lu's mind flickers. A memory from his previous life surfaces. Back when he had rescued Shen, when she had already recovered, stayed longer just because she didn't want to leave, asking him if he'd come back to the base with her. And Lu back then just brushed it off, saying he was too weak, didn't want to be dead weight, didn't want to deal with people. Toxic self-isolation, and Shen quietly admitting she was scared they might never meet again once they parted, while Luo casually told her they'd meet again if fate allowed it. And now back in the present, right when he's about to completely lose himself, memory hits. His outer mutated form starts breaking apart, and through all that chaos, he looks at Shen and says like he just picked that thread from the past and tied it to now that they finally meet again. Shen's still trying to process what just happened. But no time for a breakdown. She helps Lu up the moment he collapses and checks if he's still breathing like a normal human and not some full-time boss fight now. While the others finally exhale, realizing, yeah, they didn't die today. Small win. The girls are straight up stunned because they just watched one guy solo an entire wave like it was light work. And Pojun just stands there, low-key frustrated, wishing he had awakened already so he could actually contribute instead of being backup commentary. Still no time to admire Luo. He snaps back into responsibility mode and tells everyone to stop staring and start working. Clean the area, reset the gate, prep for the next attack, because in this world, round 2 is always loading. Meanwhile, Ida is still being dragged around like baggage and starts complaining why she's even here. If this is supposed to be some important mission, and Boss basically tells her to shut it, because if Chang didn't order it, she wouldn't even be worth the trip. And just like that, they arrive in front of a literal giant, the kind of guy who looks like he eats people as a hobby. Anna freezes instantly. Fear hits her like a truck, and the giant casually asks if Boss brought him a woman, like he's ordering food. isn't in the mood and tells him to stop playing around, delivers Chang's message. Get up, bring whoever's useful, and move to the casino, addressing him as Sang Bio. Not long after, we see full military movement, soldiers boarding a plane, mission clear, take over Area A, and wipe out any competing factions, clean sweep style. Sawan and Anna watch from the side, and Anna's actually impressed, seeing how big Chang's influence is now. But then her mood shifts when she remembers the rumors about these troops, the executioners, elite units made specifically to deal with ability users, and now she's confused why that level of force is being mobilized just to deal with Lu, who she still thinks is just some random nobody. Then Sang shows up with his squad. One of his men questions the whole situation like, why are they all moving out for a kid who might not even be alive after the mutant chaos? But Sang shuts that down instantly, says he just got intel about a lab under the casino and that woman being kept there. And the moment he says that, everyone goes quiet because they all know exactly who he means. Subject K423, the Ice Queen. Yeah, that's not someone you casually ignore. Back at the bunker, Shen's already looking for Lua and can't find him anywhere. Instantly puts her on edge. She asks Poin, and this guy starts sweating like he just got caught lying on live TV. Tells her Lu went out scouting and should be back soon. Shen's not buying it. She asks how he's even fine after what just happened to his body. And Poin tries to reassure her, saying Luo himself said he's okay and probably just didn't want to hurt anyone by staying, which honestly just makes it worse. Shen gets frustrated, pointing out his condition wasn't normal. His hair literally changed and still, he went out alone, and now she's thinking, why does this guy always carry everything himself? Why can't he trust them even a little? Or does he just think she's too weak to matter? Meanwhile, Lucky Lu is already outside moving like he unlocked DLC speed, straight up blitzing through the streets like Quicksilver on caffeine, smashing mutants out of his path with that power bike energy. And once he reaches a good vantage point, he pulls up the system map and starts analysing the city like a strategist, confirming everything matches his previous life. The meteor impact zones have split the city into territories. Soon enough, ability users and Heil mutants will start claiming these zones and forming power structures. He quickly calculates that the casino area is actually decent, not too close to a crater, meaning manageable threat level. It's a good place to grow, as long as he clears out the ability user factions first, because those are the real problems. Mutants aren't even his main concern right now, especially since he remembers there were no Lord-class threats here originally. But something still feels off. The variables are already shifting, so he goes straight to the system and asks the real question. What exactly is this tyrant ability? And what does it actually mean? But of course, the system does what it does best. Says nothing useful. He opens the status panel instead, and now the numbers speak. Jinlock level 2, evolution at 25%, stats boosted again, and a new skill unlocked. Tyrant's Wrath. The moment he sees that name, it clicks. Yeah, that's the thing that made him lose control earlier. He immediately realizes how dangerous that is. Because if he hadn't snapped that out of it in time, he wouldn't have just killed enemies, he would have wiped everything around him. No discrimination. And the scary part, no one controlled him. It wasn't possession. It was him. Pure instinct, pure killing intent. He starts thinking back to that moment, trying to figure out what pulled him back. And the only thing that stands out is Shen. Specifically, the way she stood there without resisting, completely open. Somehow that triggered him to wake up. That's when another thought hits him. This system, it's not neutral. It feels like it's pushing him somewhere, like it has its own goal. But Luo doesn't panic. He just accepts it in his usual way. If the system has an agenda, fine, they'll use each other, as long as it helps him reach Chang and settle everything. With that mindset locked in, he calls for detailed info on Tyrant's Wrath, because if that thing is going to turn him into a walking disaster again, he needs to understand exactly what kind of monster he's dealing with. Luo finally gets the explanation straight from the system. Tyrant's Wrath isn't just a buff, it's a full stat steroid that lets him bulldoze anything stupid enough to stand in front of him. So there's a catch, and yeah, it's a nasty one. It needs a high concentration of virus to function properly. Otherwise, it starts draining his life and messing with his control, basically turning him into a self-destructing monster if he spams it wrong. Luel hears that, and admittedly think of one place, the meteor crater, because that's where the virus density is going to be at its peak. So, instead of chilling like a normal person after almost going feral, he decides to go straight toward the most dangerous zone. Away, he spots military movement. Soldiers sweeping Area A like it's a proper operation, and down below, an officer is confirming with her squad that the entire area has been cleared, Civilians evacuated, everything under control. The soldiers report back clean, asking if they should return. But their captain, Gedu, was distracted for a second, then refocuses and confirms all civilians from the South District have been moved to the power plant and orders them to stay sharp because they're advancing toward the crater next. He coughed them. Then one of the guys hears something off, like a motorcycle engine, which makes zero sense since the entire zone was supposed to be evacuated, but nobody else catches it because they're buried under headset chatter and engine noise. Giyu doesn't care about the bike. He picks up something worse, mutant movement, and immediately calls for combat readiness. The soldiers move into position, confused because they can't see anything yet, and then, contact. Mutants start pouring in exactly where she predicted, and the squad opens fire instantly. Heavy weapons, clean formation. They're not playing around from above. Luo watches the whole thing and actually gives them credit. Their firepower is solid. Low-level mutants aren't a problem for them, and he remembers this clearly. In his previous life, he survived because of military shelters like this, but then they suddenly vanished later on, leaving everyone to fend for themselves, and even now, he's still wondering what they were really doing behind the scenes. Then something catches his eye. One of the mutants isn't normal. It's a minor early-stage, high-risk mutant, formed near the crater, with those crystal-like fragments growing out of its body from prolonged exposure. These things aren't your average fodder. They usually stay near crater zones and absorb energy in groups, so seeing one here alone already feels off. Past Luo would have turned around and left immediately. No shame. Survival first, but current Luo, nah. He pulls his hood up and decides to join the fight like he just found bonus XP. Down there, Gidu is already realizing something's wrong. That miner closes distance way too fast, smashes through soldiers, and even flips armored vehicles like they're toys. One guy tries to counter with an RPG, doesn't even get the shot off, gets impaled instantly. Now, the squad understand this thing isn't normal. Guided watches as the dead soldier's body starts crystallizing, which is already disturbing, and when the monster rushes her, he barely dodges, hits the ground hard, coughs, still grabs the RPG, and fires point blank, and for a second it works. Blows part of the monster apart, and she actually thinks she got it. Yeah, too early. The thing regenerates right in front of her, particles growing out of the destroyed section, and now she's staring at it like, is this thing immortal? Or what? And right when things are about to go from bad to worse, she hears that same engine again, and Luo just comes flying in like he's late to a boss fight. Rams his bike straight into the monster's face, with a grin that says he's enjoying this way too much. And using the momentum, he literally takes its head off with the bike, like it's some kind of demolition tool. He lands calm. Gidu is still trying to process what just happened, and asks the most basic question possible, are you even human? Luo instantly recognizes her, which makes him pause internally, because in his previous life, she was a well-known ability user, respected, actually decent to normal people, someone who could have made life easier if things didn't collapse. Meanwhile, her squad is just confused, questioning how this guy is casually riding a bike into a battlefield like he missed the apocalypse memo. Go tells her men to lower their weapons since he's human, and Lu quickly realizes she still has no idea about ability users yet. Timeline checks out. This is still early. He doesn't waste time explaining, tells her they'll talk later, and turns back to the monster, because, it's not done yet. Right in front of everyone, the decapitated head starts reconnecting like nothing happened. And the soldiers are visibly shaken now, while Luo just tells them to step aside. And when he steps forward to face it directly, the soldiers are looking at him like he just volunteered for suicide, because that thing just flipped armored vehicles, and this guy's walking up to it like it owes him money. Luo doesn't even entertain their panic. He pulls out his blade and cleanly takes its head off again. No hesitation, no drama. Then instantly wraps his body in electricity and digs straight into it, ripping out the crystal core he was actually aiming for the whole time. That's the real target. High-density core formed from long exposure to the meteor zone, and unlike normal mutants, this thing literally runs on that core. Take it out, and the whole system shuts down. Normally, these minas have a hardened crystal shell protecting it. Thanks to Guar already blasting it earlier, Lua just skips the annoying part and takes the prize. Still, something doesn't sit right with him, because a miner wandering this far from a crater is already suspicious. And right when he's thinking that, the thing starts talking. It mutters about power, about being the Lord's apostle, about coming out to search for something it sensed. Vua pauses for a second, not scared, just annoyed that things keep getting more complicated. And right on cue, the system pops up again with another hidden mission, like it's farming side quests off his life. Yua's already done with the system's nonsense. Notices there's no time limit, no punishment, basically no pressure, which somehow makes it even more suspicious. He decides to ignore it for now, because he's not about to get baited mid-run. System then casually tells him those scattered fragments around are meteor pieces and suggests collecting them, and Luo just goes with it. Grabs them since free resources are free resources. Then, Gidu comes in, coughs to get his attention, thanks him properly, introduces herself as captain of the city's search and rescue team, and asks his name like this is a normal conversation, and not right after he just dissected a monster. Who already knows where this is heading. Factions are about to rise. Territories will start getting claimed, and getting tied to anyone right now is just extra baggage, so he keeps it vague. Before he even answers, helicopters start flying overhead, loud, heavy presence. Sure, and one of the soldiers asks if they're military. Du isn't sure, but Lua already knows exactly what that means. Only one group would show up like that this early. Chang's people, his brain connects it instantly. If they're here, then the warehouse area is already at risk, and now he doesn't have time for introductions. He just tells Guido he has to go. But before leaving, he throws in a warning. That helicopter noise is basically ringing the dinner bell for mutants. Everything nearby is about to go crazy, so they better be ready. And then he's gone, just like that. Guided watches him leave, calls him strange, but doesn't stop him. And when one of her soldiers questions it, she just says they'll meet again. Intuition kicking in, immediately switches back to command mode and tells everyone to prepare because if his warning is right, they're about to get swarmed. Meanwhile, exactly where Lu was worried about, Chang's squad lands near the warehouse, already giving orders like he didn't just get humbled earlier. Recover all usable supplies, and kill anything alive before entering the dungeon. One guy hesitates near the entrance, saying it feels off, and right on cue, ice spikes erupt out of nowhere, casting them back and sealing the entrance shut like a hard not welcome. Boss sees that, and instantly realizes what that means. K423 is awake, and suddenly all that confidence disappears. He immediately tells everyone to back off and return to the helicopter. Then Mad Leopard steps in like he's been waiting for this question since when Boss gives orders. Boss snaps back, but also reminds him that if anything goes wrong with K423, nobody here is walking away clean. Mad Leopard doesn't care, calls in Iron Fist, already annoyed like he got dragged into overtime, while another guy, Drunkard, downplays it, asking why everyone's so tense over one test subject. That's when Flying Shadow shuts that down instantly, explaining K423 isn't just another subject. She's the worst one. Most violent, hardest to control, already destroyed multiple labs, and wiped out entire squads. Even elite executioners couldn't handle her, which is exactly why Chang had to hide her here in the first place. Mad Leaport then circles back to Lu, asking about the kid with spatial abilities, wondering if he survived the grenade, and Boss just assumes Lu probably triggered K423 and died like a side character. Even adds that he's lucky he won't have to experience his methods. Still coping hard. Iron Fist, meanwhile, already bored of the talk, says he'll handle it himself, and without waiting for approval, starts punching the ice barrier like he's trying to wake up a nightmare on purpose. Right when Iron Fist is about to go full caveman on the ice wall, Shen just appears out of nowhere and casually tells him to stop like she's dealing with kids. And yeah, that alone already messes with everyone because the unstoppable lab monster is out here talking normally. She recognizes them instantly as the execution squad and makes it clear she's not here to start anything. Says she gave her word to Luo, so they should back off before she's forced to act, which only confuses them more because this is not the psycho they were warned about. Drunkard even starts doubting if they picked the wrong girl. While Boss is standing there realizing two things at once, she's conscious, and yeah, Luo she mentioned is definitely that same annoying kid who wrecked his place. Iron Fist, of course, hears none of that, and goes straight in because thinking is optional for him. But mid-charge, he gets caught clean by ice spikes and suddenly needs backup. Now he's calling for help after acting tough 5 seconds ago. Drunkard jumps in, takes a swig, spits fire like he's auditioning for a dragon role, and Shen immediately recognizes what he is. So, she throws up an ice shield just in time, ready for Flying Shadow to slice it apart, like it's paper, and come in for the kill. Shen's holding her ground, but now it's a 3v1, and they're actually sinking their attacks. Fire from one side, speed blitz from another, pressure from the front. And while all that's happening, that voice inside her starts talking again, telling her she's too weak, that she should let it take over, basically trying to hijack her body mid-fight. Shen's fighting 2 battles at once now, outside and inside, still managing to blast them back and tell them to get lost. But Flying Shadow finally admits, yeah, this is the real K423, the one Chang is obsessed with, but also points out the obvious. Shen can't keep playing defense forever. They switch tactics to recruit her instead, telling her not to be their enemy and to come back with them because Chang will take care of her, which is basically the worst sales pitch ever. Meanwhile, the voice inside is getting louder, pushing her to kill them, calling her useless for holding back, and Shen starts slipping. She knows if that thing takes over, it's over, and the only person who's ever stopped it before is Luo. So now she's stuck thinking, where the hell is he? Cut to Lu, and yeah, he's already on the way. Tearing through the streets on his bike at full speed. Runs straight into a group of Chang's men, mid-con conversation, and just bulldozes through them like they're cones. The rest point guns at him, and Lu pauses for a split second, calculating whether to dump all his electricity here. But before he even decides, boom, grenade drops, wipes them out, and Lu turns to see Po-jun casually stepping in like he timed that entrance on purpose. Po-jun fills him in fast. Boss brought ability users. Shen went to hold them off, and he slipped out through the back, then just hands Lu the main quest straight up. Go help her. I'll deal with these extras. Lu doesn't argue, just tells him not a single one escapes. And Po-jun locks in with a grin like he's been waiting for this. Back at the fight, Shen's getting pressed again. Mad Leopard already bored, saying she's not living up to the hype. But Boss isn't buying it. He notices she's holding back, not trying to kill, which means she's either guarding something or waiting for someone. Drunkard immediately turns that into jokes about her boyfriend, saying she's waiting for Lu, then roasts him too, calling him a reckless kid who probably ran off already. And right after that, he goes full power, cranks up the flames, so much the entire area heats up. Ice starts failing. Shen can't even form proper defenses anymore, and now she realizes this is getting dangerous fast. So, she finally considers it, letting that other side take over, because at this rate, she won't last. But right before she crosses that line, a hand lands on her back and just pushes her out of the way like, nah, not happening. And Luo steps in, blocks the incoming fire with a shield like it's nothing. Then immediately flips the situation, charges straight at Drunkard and slams that shield into his face, telling him straight up he's asking to die. Luo doesn't waste time talking. He just drives that shield straight into Drunkard's face and slams him into the ground so hard the guy's done right there. Blood leaking out like his career just ended mid-fight. The rest just stand there for a second, trying to process what they just saw. Luo turns back with that smirk like, yeah, next. Xiao finally steps in, activates his power, starts barking like usual, calling him a brat that won't die and asking how he even dares to show up looking like that. And Luo just fires back, asking why he isn't already running away this time, since he brought back up. Even calls him out as Scarface Xiao, which immediately gets under his skin, because now he wants to know how Lu even knows that name. Before Shu can keep yapping, Mad Leopard cuts in. Clearly done with the dialogue, tells his men to stop wasting time and kill Lu and casually roast them while he's at it, saying he wasted resources racing trash like Drunkard, and if they don't finish this, he'll deal with them himself later. It's all Flying Shadow needs. She jumps in, but Lu already handled Iron Fist earlier, so he tells Shen to step back since she's been holding back anyway. She just calmly says there's no need anymore because she realized something important that other her has always been afraid of Lu. So, as long as he's here, she doesn't need to restrain herself, and just like that, she lets it loose and goes straight at Flying Shadow. Even Flying Shadow can feel it. Something about Shen's aura just shifted completely. At the same time, Boss rushes Lu again, like he didn't just get humbled earlier, throwing a punch and talking about how Lu still has the nerve to show up. Thinking K423 will protect him, but Lu answers with a punch of his own. And this time, it's not even close. He shatters that metallic arm instantly like it's glass. Boss is stunned, but Lu doesn't pause, lands another clean hit to the face, sends him flying back like he's nothing, then walks in to finish him. But suddenly his body just locks up, gets heavy out of nowhere. That's when Mad Leopard finally moves, tells him that's enough because he's not letting Scarface die here. And yeah, turns out gravity just says, sit down. Boss drags himself back up, already questioning why Mad Leopard took so long. But Mad Leopard isn't even looking at him. He's looking at Luo like he just found something interesting. He tells Luo he likes that stubborn attitude. He even offers him a spot. Says since Drunkard is dead, he can replace him and he'll even put in a word with Chang. Luo hears that and just looks unimpressed. Asks him why every villain keeps using the same boring script. Like, at least try something new. Xuan, Mad Leopard doesn't like that tone. increases the gravity pressure instantly, and tells him to think it over while his bones slowly get crushed. Meanwhile, Pojun outside already cleaned up the rest of the fodder and is low-key annoyed that one of them even managed to injure him, calling himself Rusty. But then he notices something weird, smoke coming off his wound, and then it just heals completely, like it was never there. Like, even he pauses, like, okay, that's new. Back inside, the girls are starting to panic, wondering if Shen and Pojun are already dead. But others shut that down immediately, saying they're not going back to that hell, no matter what. They'd rather die here. The only reason they're still holding on is because they believe Luo will come back. Outside again, Luo is still getting crushed under Mad Leopard's gravity. His body getting heavier by the second, and Shedgeets gets distracted seeing that Flying Shadow instantly takes advantage, jumps her, and tells her to focus on the fight instead of worrying about her boyfriend. But before she even gets close, she counters instantly with an ice sword and calmly says she's not worried about Luo at all. That line hits different because Flying Shadow suddenly realizes her blade just got sliced up like it was nothing. Shen tells her straight that they have no idea what kind of monster they just provoked, then goes in to stab her, but Flying Shadow barely dodges and starts bragging about her speed, saying Shen can't keep up or even touch her. Shen doesn't even move, detonates the ice already on Flying Shadow's face, and yeah, that hits clean. Flying Shadow tries to dodge, but still gets tagged, completely caught off guard. Right then, Iron Fist jumps back in, breaks some of the ice, and tries to remind everyone he's still here, hitting him with a punch. But Shen just smiles and blocks it effortlessly with an ice shield, like he's not even worth reacting to. While Shen is out there handling business, Luo starts noticing something off, because realistically, she should have ended this fight already. So now he's wondering if she's holding back, or if that speed freak is actually giving her trouble. Right in the middle of that thought, Boss just sneaks in and kicks Luo straight in the face, telling him to stop zoning out and acting tough, reminding him K423 belongs to Chang like he's reciting company policy. Luo just eats that, smiles, and immediately returns the hit like, relax, you're not that guy, telling him his ego is getting out of control. Mad Leopard, though, is the one actually confused now, because Lu is still moving under heavy gravity, like it's nothing. And Lu finally drops the reveal, telling him that slow, evenly distributed pressure, yeah, basically free food for him. He's been absorbing it this whole time and just playing along for fun. Man casually says he's already at 91%, like he's checking a download bar. Then asks Mad Leopard if that's really all he's got. That one hits the ego hard. Mad Leopard stops playing, slams his fist into the ground, and now everything goes crazy. Ground cracks, gravity goes unstable, objects start floating and crushing at the same time. Full chaos mode. Even Pojun pulls up like, what the hell is happening here? That Iron Fist is complaining he didn't get a warning. Shen feels the weight spike too, and realizes this ability covers a huge area. Boss is out here, begging Mad Leopard to let him get clear first, but Mad Leopard is busy flexing. Luo, this is his gravity control, and he's about to get crushed for real this time. Luo doesn't care, just kicks him straight in the face mid-spec and tells him to stop narrating his abilities like it's a resume. Mad Leopard fires back instantly, pushes him hard enough to send him flying, then finally shows the real trick, explaining gravity isn't just pressure. It tears you apart from the inside. Even if your muscles hold up, your organs won't. Then he casually tells Luzo to behave and convince Shen to surrender too, like he's already won. But Luo's expression changes, because now it clicks. That ability, he's seen it before. This isn't just some random ability user. This and the same power as that future Shonster from the East District, the one known as Skinface. And suddenly everything makes sense. That's why he never saw this guy under Chong in his previous life, because this dude wasn't supposed to stay human that long. He was supposed to lose some control and turn into something way worse. So Lu just stands back up and hits him where it hurts mentally this time. Tells him he misunderstood everything. The real reason Mad Leopard isn't going all out is because he's scared to reveal what he's turning into. That line lands. Mad Leopard freezes for a second, then immediately tries to deny it, but Lu keeps pushing. Asking if Chong even knows about this, because if he did, he'd have already tossed this unstable asset away. Then he tells him to take off the hood and prove he's still in control. Yeah, that breaks him. Mad Leopard snaps, eyes already mutating, shouting, he's the chosen one, the future of humanity. Refusing to go back to any lab, like some experiment. Now he's not talking like a soldier anymore. He's talking like someone already halfway gone. He promises to crush Lua right there. Lua just steps forward, like he's been waiting for this exact moment, tells him playtime is over, And for the first time, Luo isn't avoiding a monster like in his past life. He's excited. Back then, he hid, studied, survived under protection. Figures now, he's finally face to face with something that used to be untouchable. He activates his tyrant form, grabs Mad Leopard straight by the throat, lifts him like he weighs nothing, and tells him he doesn't care what he becomes later. To end it now, and save everyone the future headache. That's when the system pops up again, detecting a quasi-Lord-class mutation incoming, and casually drops a side mission like it's just another task. Defeat it for some rewards. Luo just scoffs at that, quickly calling the rewards cheap while holding a future disaster by the neck. And right on cue, Mad Leopard starts transforming. Iron Fist is still trying to process why his boss is acting weird. But before his brain catches up, Shen is already on him, closing the distance like she's done waiting. He turns, probably thinking he's about to throw hands, but Flying Shadow cuts in again, slices through Shen's ice mid-attack, and basically says, "Focus, I'm your opponent," like she's trying to reclaim the spotlight. Then she starts running her mouth, calling Shen an uncontrollable psycho who only got special treatment because of her natural ability, whining about how everyone else suffered because of her. Yeah, that's straight jealousy with extra salt. She even promises to kill Shen and take everything that was hers. Resources, treatment, even Chang's favor, like it's some prize. Shen just looks at her and calmly asks if she's also just another victim, like the girls locked in the dungeon. That line hits way harder than all that shouting. Meanwhile, Iron Fist finally decides to go help his boss. But yeah, bad timing. Mad Leopard is already losing it, completely gone in the head. And the moment Iron Fist gets close, he grabs him and starts accusing him too, asking if he came to mock him and take his place. Before Iron Fist can even respond, boom, head gone. Just bites it off like it's nothing. No fight, no struggle, just instant delete. Luo sees that and yeah, confirms it. Dude's officially lost his mind. Boss is watching the whole thing unfold like his career choices are flashing before his eyes. Seeing Mad Leopard straight up eating Iron Fist's body and realizing this is way past, we can handle it. Sud. Now he's done pretending. He immediately decides to dip, thinking maybe that weird organization's medicine had side effects after all. And yeah, now he wants to run back and report to Chang before he ends up as the next meal. He turns to escape, probably thinking he can still get out clean. That's when Pojun steps in and blocks his path calm as ever, telling him it's already too late too.